Well, I guess that's my hint to get things started. Hello, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome to Coach Transformation Academy Transformational Tuesday. We're always so happy when you show up. We're so happy to see you here. And tonight we just have a very, very, very special presenter that is with us. And I'm not even going to take a whole lot of time because I'm going to let her tell you about herself. But Andrea Isaacs, she's going to be talking about emotional mastery. I've been working on that all day for choice, freedom, and impact. Andrea has been doing embodiment practices for over 50 years, specifically related to the Enneagram for emotional, I gotta say it again, mastery for 28 years. She's also the creator of the Isaacs method of emotional mastery, Enneagram motion, somatic focusing, and the EQ quiz. She's changed the lives of thousands of people in 27 countries. Her clients call her a master of change. Now, I'm just going to add one more thing. If you have a chance later to go to her website, there is this amazing poem that has literally changed the last 4 days of my life. And it's called I Choose on My Behalf. So it literally brought tears to my eyes. So I'm saying this very honestly, if you get the opportunity after this session to go and read that article and read that poem, and it's not long, but man, is it powerful. I strongly suggest that you take the time to go and do that. So Andrea, I'm going to turn it over to you so we can get as much of information as we can. Thank you again for being here.
Well, you're welcome. And it is indeed my pleasure, Fonda. I am so touched that you told me that story. So you called it a poem, which is really sweet. I never knew what to call those things. I work a lot with mantras and mudras. These are both Sanskrit terms capturing a phrase, a word or phrase, and also traditionally a prayer or meditation position that really creates a particular inner state. And there's so many ways of practicing these things. And I was teaching a class not that long ago, and one of my students was asking a question about how do we practice these things so that we can have more choice about our emotions? And so I was taking these mantras that had come up during the class, and I just started repeating them and sort of chanting them in kind of a rhythmic way. And they're laughing and they're leaning in and also getting something that was a really deep transformation. And I'm watching them, like listening and watching me, after which they're saying, hey, you are a rapper. So this, what you call a poem, is a combination of a poem, a chant, a prayer, a meditation, and a rap. But calling it a rap brings like this lighthearted fun to it. And so the one you're referring to, I choose on my behalf, yes, I do, is really so important. And it is the key to emotional mastery. So how did all of this come about, one might wonder, and what is it anyway? So excuse me one moment. As a young person and even into adulthood, I was painfully shy. And I remember being in a room full of about 500 entrepreneurs. And I asked that question, raise your hand if you have ever been shy. And I was amazed that almost every hand went up. I thought, these are like entrepreneurs who are successful and they're shy. And then I asked another question, how many of you like being shy? And not one hand went up. Well, if any of you listening have ever been shy, you know how hard it is to shift that. There are so many times I wanted to stand up and be heard. I wanted to express my opinion or say yes or no, and didn't take a stand for what I wanted. And I didn't like that. And I remember as a child, my mother would say, well, just be confident. Well, I knew in my head I wanted to be. I knew in my heart I wanted to be. I longed to be confident, but I didn't know how. And so take a moment and look back on your life about moments when you wanted to do something or say something and you held yourself back. And, I think one of the most painful things in life is when you hold yourself back from being fully you, all you. Now, I don't mean be free to express your anger and rage because that's how you're authentically and maybe justifiably feeling. I don't mean that. I mean expressing yourself in a way that reflects and honors your best and highest self. That's my goal. That's how I want to be in life. Also in a way that honors the best and highest of all involved for the best possible outcome. That's how we change our lives. That's how we change the world. And yet to do that, is often outside our comfort zone. And there are a lot of reasons why it's hard to step outside our comfort zone. I'm sure you've all heard about comfort zone and stepping, the dreams you want are all on the other side of your comfort zone. Yes, it's true. And this is what I've learned about how that step can be easy. So I studied enough science when I was in college to understand neural pathways. We have a neural pathway for every thought, every feeling, and every action we've ever done. Imagine if you were not a swimmer once. You don't have a neural pathway for swimming, and you take swimming lessons, and you develop a neural pathway for the breaststroke, for the crawl and the breaststroke and all these different strokes, and pretty soon you get good at it. Going back in childhood, you don't even know how to dress yourself, and you start putting your pants on. Maybe both legs go in the same leg, or they're on backwards, but you figure it out. You physically create a neural pathway for new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, new ways of feeling. And if there's something we want, a way of feeling or thinking or being in the world that we haven't done yet, there's a lot of good reason, because these early imprints, these neural pathways we had when we were children are really strong. Imagine this. An infant comes into the world and doesn't yet know. And think about your own life. When you're a little baby, a little girl, or a little boy, you don't yet know what to expect from the world, how to expect to be treated, how to expect you should show up. And so when you're treated a certain way and you get these messages, spoken or unspoken, it creates a neural pathway. And then the next day you might get that message again, spoken or unspoken. It could be you're loved and nurtured. It could be, we don't have time for you, or not yet, not yet, not yet, thinking it'll never be your turn. Whatever those early messages are, positive or not so positive, are repeated again and again. And then months, years, decades later, those neural pathways get stronger and stronger, just like your muscles get stronger and stronger when you go to a gym and you lift weights. Those neural pathways with repetition also get stronger and stronger. And that's why people think, understandably, think that change is difficult. And every time we tell the story of what happened in childhood, every time we tell the story, that neural pathway gets even stronger and is even harder to change. So in the work that I do, we create a new neural pathway. And here's how I discovered that. So I mentioned being really shy as a child. So it's really not a surprise to tell you that my first professional career was a nonverbal career. It kind of makes me laugh, like, oh yeah, I didn't have to talk. I was a professional dancer. I had my own dance company, and I loved to choreograph dances about people and emotions and relationships. And so I learned many years ago, yes, 50 years ago, that says something about my age. Yes, I learned like 50 years ago how to have my dancers move in a way that the emotion I wanted them to communicate was authentic and powerful. And so this was my background when I came across this personality system called the Enneagram. Ennea means 9 in Greek, and gram is a diagram or drawing. And the Enneagram is a geometric symbol that represents 9 different personality styles. Each one has different emotional gifts and strengths, and also very predictable challenges. And so I was fascinated because I learned about myself and why I am the way I am, why I was so shy and so on. And so I dove in and I went to a week-long training, and I sat on my butt for 12 hours a day for a week. And I kept thinking, I have to do these Enneagram types, because I knew from way back with my dance career that we could embody these emotions of these different personality styles. It was so clear to me that this could be done, and it didn't exist. So I created something I came to call Enneamotion, using movement to explore and embody the Enneagram, these different personality styles. And the next thing that happened really surprised me. So I'm teaching the personality style called the leader, who's known for confidence and taking a stand and being in charge and being opinionated, letting it be very clear about, where you stand and where they stand, others stand with you, and being direct and very decisive, things that I was not. Now, their predictable shadow when they spiral down these emotional levels of health is being short-tempered, being quick to get angry, and in its worst case, really rage. And so the class, a room full of 65 people, they were doing this exercise that I was guiding them through to go up and down these different emotional levels of health. And what happened next really surprised me. First of all, the room exploded in rage. Just what I told them to do, because there's something about going into our dark shadow, which if we don't like it and we avoid it or we are scared of it, it really means we're not in charge of it because we don't let ourselves learn how to manage that energy. So the room explodes in rage, and I get scared. And I looked for the door and I wanted to run out that door. And I had to stop myself. I said, no, you can't leave. You're the facilitator. You have to stay. And I tried. And the rage, that anger, which I talk a lot about energy and how to use energy to capture emotion, which is big energy. It's fast, firm, and direct, right? Fast, firm, and direct. Feel that in your body a moment. Let your arms move in a way that's fast, firm, and direct. Fast, firm, and direct, because this is the energy of anger. I was so afraid of this as a young person. I thought if I let myself feel my anger, my hurt, the cells of my body would explode, or I would do something that would offend you or hurt your feelings or lose you as a friend. And so I wouldn't let myself feel it. I was so afraid of it when I was a child that I just said, I'm never going to be that. So here I am in this exercise where I'm guiding everyone to experience that. And it scared me. And I somehow hung in there. It was like this love-hate relationship. I knew this work had meaning and power, and I also was so afraid of it. What I learned is important for all of us to know, that anger is just energy. It happens to be a lot of energy. And we get to decide what we do with it. And what happened for me eventually is when I was hurt or angry, I felt the energy like wanting to rise up. And I felt the old pattern, that old neural pathway that was still really strong. I felt that old neural pathway wanting to withdraw and shut down. Ask yourself, have you ever felt that, wanting to withdraw and shut down an emotion that you didn't want to express? Actually, I'd love you to write in the chat, yes, if you ever experienced that, if you've ever wanted to withdraw and shut down an emotion you didn't want to express. I also would love for you to say something in the chat about anger. Did you ever express your hurt or your anger in a way that didn't really work? I'm hearing some of your responses. Yes, being embarrassed about a mistake. Oh, I hate when that happens. Many times. Thank you, Rhonda. Claudia, yes. Nikki, yes. Well, wouldn't you like to have some tools to deal with that? I did. I sure did. So what happened for me is I was able to stand in the energy of anger and just be present. So first of all, I wasn't withdrawing. I wasn't running away. I was present. And then I could just speak gently from my heart and say, wait a minute, that was hurtful. And it led to a conversation. And the other person didn't understand that what she had said hurt my feelings. And we were able to discuss it in a way that resolved the situation. And I wasn't hurt anymore. So in other words, when you have emotional mastery, these challenges we have, challenges about expressing ourselves, it could be over or under expressing when we're hurt or angry. These challenges can actually be managed when we let ourselves go into the shadow. You know, no one really likes the shadow of any personality style. None of them is helpful. None of them will nurture a relationship. And if we overdo it or underdo it, it doesn't resolve the situation. And if that person stays in your life, I guarantee you it will happen again. And ask yourself, have I had a situation like that where the same kind of thing happened again and again, even with the same person? Let's see, Brenda has a question. What prevents us from speaking gently? The emotions of anger seem so powerful. It seems almost like a comfort. Brenda, I love your question. And I'm going to answer it with a little exercise. Okay, so we're going to go into the shadow just a little. Thank you, Brenda, for applauding. Actually, I wonder if y'all can turn your cameras on so I can see you, because this is going to be an exercise. And before we do it, I want you to know I could answer Brenda's question, and you will probably forget 80% of what I say in a few days. I can maybe show you what I mean, and you'll probably remember 50% and forget 50%. So first of all, raise your hand if you really want to learn something during our time together. Raise your hand if you really want to learn something. Oh, yay. Thank you. Hands went up. Okay. Well, that means if you actually do what it is I'm talking about, you will remember 80%. I see some digital hands going up. Yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you will remember 80%. So that means you'll join me, right? Raise your hand, right? You're going to join me in this exercise because you're here to learn. Thank you so much. Okay. So I want you, let's see, we're going to play with energy a little bit. First, just let your arms just float up and down. Take a breath in, let your arms float up. Good job, everybody. Breath out when your arms float down. Let's just keep repeating that while I talk to you. Breath in and float up. On the exhale, good job. So this I call soft. Let your arms just kind of float around like you're just floating in the air. And keep breathing. Imagine this yoga-like breath. And there's a gentle softness to this, right? Oh, very nice. Now there are different extremes I like working with polarities, extremes, opposites. Let's do the opposite of that. Clench your fists. Good job. Clench your torso. Feel like the inside of your body's just clenching. Good job. And your jaw might tighten. Good job. So the energy now is firm and strong. And imagine moving in a way. Now don't punch your computer monitor, but imagine punching. Stab, punch, punch, punch. Imagine you're really like knocking someone out. And feel your breath change. That's a real different energy, right? Yes, it is. Good job. Good job. So before I go on, just put in the chat. Do you feel, yes or no? Do you feel a difference emotionally when you move in these different ways? Do you feel a difference emotionally, yes or no, when you move in this floating way? Yes, 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 sure. Or in a firm, beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Good. Thank you for participating. So I want you to first notice that how you move can and does impact how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to life. This is crucial. Okay, so anger. So when anger comes up, the things that don't work are one of two extremes. Remember, I talk about opposites. People either withdraw and shut down. So let's embody what that is. If I'm withdrawing, it's like I get smaller and smaller. Get smaller with me. Feel this in your body. Get smaller. Try to make yourself invisible. Get smaller and shrink. And I feel my torso curving in on itself. Contract your upper body as if you're protecting your heart. Yeah, and imagine you can't speak. So imagine there's something kind of clenching your throat and you can't speak. Yes, Elizabeth says yes and no, trying to be present at the struggle. We're going to get there in a moment. Keep this small feeling in your body. Now, when we withdraw, this is what we're doing to ourselves. We're strengthening this neural pathway. Thank you. Shake it out. Shake it out. And again, if you want to turn your cameras on, those of you who haven't, I would really love that. Because I want to see you learning. I want to see you learning. Now we're going to do the opposite, like we were doing a moment. So let's say you have full reign to let your anger rip. You might want to back up so you don't bang your keyboard or something. Let's say you've got full reign and it's fast, firm, and direct, like we did a moment ago. Join me in that. Neither one works, right? Now imagine you can control the energy in your body. So keep that firm energy, which is a good quality. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your feet connect to the floor underneath you and let that grounded earth energy rise up through the soles of your feet, rise up your legs, and infuse in what I call your belly center, your hara, your kath, whatever you want to call it, your dantian. And I'm using both palms to rub my belly center because that is the home of your grounded, easy self-confidence. Remember that firm energy. Let that firm energy rise up your spine, and I'm getting taller and taller and taller. Yes. Now, for those of us who withdraw or we get embarrassed, this is a good antidote. And now the next thing is really powerful. It has a very different energy in your body. Remember when we let our arms float? Take that soft, floaty feeling and put it into your heart center. And I invite you to place one or both palms on your sternum. And you might circle your sternum. It's that soft, gentle energy. And there may be a mantra for each of these energies. The one right here in our heart could be something like, I speak gently from my heart. Join me in that. Let's do that together. Take a breath in. I speak gently from my heart. Feel the meaning of those words in your body. And again, big breath in. I have dynamic quiet. Thank you, Brenda. Oh, that's beautiful. I have dynamic quiet. Yes. I speak gently from my heart. Good. Now, remember the first part in that when we were moving this really strong, firm way? Let's capture that in a different kind of way. I stand firmly. I stand firmly. I stand firmly. I'm feeling my feet connect to the earth. I stand firmly. Oh, I feel a rap coming on. I stand firmly. Yes, I do. I stand firmly. Yes, I do. Feel it in your body. I stand firmly. Yes, I do. And I speak gently from my heart with dynamic quiet. I stand firmly. Yes, I do. And I speak just like a shifting of gears, right? And I speak gently from my heart with dynamic quiet. And then you are creating, right now, you're all creating actually two neural pathways, the one to stay present, not run away, and the one to soften the anger so you don't have to talk like this. You speak with a presence that's kind, connected, calm, and curious. And when you have that kind, connected, calm curiosity, when your feelings were hurt or embarrassed or you're angry, you can bring up the conversation with calm curiosity. Perhaps ask a question, have a conversation about what happened. And what I love about what happens next is you get mutual understanding. You see each other's perspective. The situation can resolve and never have to happen again. And then instead of your hurt, embarrassment, or anger causing that relationship to be challenged or maybe even to end, instead, you can actually nurture and deepen that relationship. I see some nods. So I'm going to pause. Serenity. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that you're putting your words in the chat, and I invite you to continue to do that, because when you custom design these mantras and the mudras, the body position, when you custom design them for what's coming up for you, like Brenda really wants this dynamic quiet, I invite you to use the words that are coming from within you, because then it will be even more powerful. Serenity, dancing with the soul. Oh yeah, let's feel that one. I dance with my soul. I dance with my soul. I dance. Dance is this playful and fully engaged creative feeling with the soul, has this deep feeling. And there's something to be said for the repetition, because when you repeat it over and over again, especially when it has some kind of a rhythm, you hear when I get into a rhythm of something and it wants to repeat itself. When you get into the rhythm, you have this feeling kind of like this. Did you ever hear a song and then you have that song in your head and you can't get it out of your head? Yeah, this mantra, what Franda called the poem, I choose on my behalf. It becomes that song in your head that you can't get out of your head, which is uplifting and empowering, and it gives you courage to be you. So I said a whole lot there. I want to pause and see if there are questions from any of you or comments about what your experience was with the exercise so far. And I can certainly just go on, but I love to hear from you. I'm not used to, I don't know if you're used to speaking up on these calls. Are they, Franda? Yeah. Okay, they're being shy right now. Okay, Brenda, what prevents us from shifting into this? We're so used to the old, so true. And it's just a matter of creating a new neural pathway, or is there still that comfort believing you are safe in the old behavior and you have to give up being and feeling safe? Brenda, great question. So what I have found, because these imprints of those things that are hard to change happened so long ago. First of all, I want you to know it's useful to have compassion for yourself and to say, there's a good reason. And that pattern served you well when you were young. If you don't give yourself compassion, it's, that you still feel a threat. So it's great to acknowledge, oh yeah, I did the right thing. I really took care of myself. Thank you, self, for taking care of me. And so what I do in my coaching practice is we go back to that early imprint and we create what I call an antidote. Oh, I see some great comments. I'll get to those in a moment. This is what I mean by creating an antidote. Imagine you're bit by a poisonous snake. You could die, right? But there is an antidote that has some of the venom from that poisonous snake, and it saves your life. The old flu vaccine used to have flu virus in it, and it could prevent you from getting the flu. Well, with that metaphor in mind, we all have our own very unique emotional venom. how you were as a child, how you were treated was different than how you were treated, which is different than how someone else was treated. We're all unique individuals, as you know. So in my coaching, we go back to those early imprints. And for just a moment, I have you feel what I call that emotional pain, your emotional venom, so to speak. And then I guide you in shifting the energy in your body into what your body longs for. We temporarily bypass your thinking mind because you're all smart people. You know you're smart. And if you could have figured it out in your head, you would have. When you feel the energy in your body and you bypass your thinking mind for a moment, what happens is your body finds its deeper longing. And then we anchor it. We anchor it twice. We anchor it in the body with that mudra, whatever your body wants to do. We anchor it in your body. And then we have your body inform your mind about a mantra that you can say that has the same intention. So when you have a word or phrase, a mantra, and a body position that both carry the same intention, it is very powerful in creating a new neural pathway that supports who you want to be. And then it's not a matter of, oh, I'm not safe anymore. Your body believes that you are safe now. And then it's more willing to let you embody a new way of being. So that's a short answer, but let me ask you, Brenda, I can see you on the screen. Thank you for turning your camera on. Does that make sense to you? Do you want to comment or ask a follow-up question on that, Brenda? Unmute yourself, please.
I think it's extraordinary what you share. Like, I can feel it and I get it. But in those moments when you're feeling that uncertainty, like just continuing to practice, because those emotions can be so powerful.
I know. You're so accurate. Well, I like to put it this way. Practice these, if you had a mantra from today that you like already, practice it when you don't need it. Because every time you practice it, that neural pathway gets stronger and stronger. You don't go to a gym once and feel like you're strong enough to lift a piano for it. I mean, no, you need to go back again and again, gradually increase your weights again and again, increase the weights. That's how you really get strong. So you are in training. You get to strengthen you get to choose the neural pathway that you train. This is really important. You get to choose the neural pathway that you train. I want to put that in the chat because that's worth remembering. You get to choose which neural pathway you train. And then each time you practice it when you don't need it, that neural pathway gets stronger, 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 just like your muscles get stronger when you work out at a gym. And then here's where the magic comes in. And then when you're challenged, or when you anticipate a challenge, or that old emotion that really takes charge and starts running you, what can happen is one of three things. You may anticipate the challenge. And so you can say, oh, I don't want to do that. I'd rather speak gently from my heart. I'd rather dance with my soul. Whatever your mantra is, when you say those words, your brain remembers the neural pathway. It energizes that neural pathway. And it's now in your comfort zone. So your comfort zone has gotten bigger. It's now in your comfort zone because you've practiced and trained it. And so you are prepared. You have that new neural pathway of speaking gently from your heart. And there goes that situation. She did it again. Darn. I don't have to go down that road. I can choose to go down this road. And you respond differently. That's one option. The other option is you may not anticipate when someone or something pushes your buttons. I mean, hey, when COVID hit, we were all kind of freaked out, right? We needed resilience. We needed some other way to respond besides anxiety or fear or whatever it is. Something unexpected can happen and we aren't prepared. So as soon as you notice that something's triggered you or whatever it is, or wanting to hide or whatever it is, you can shift the energy in your body. You can call upon that mantra. You can even just change the energy in your body and respond differently. And now the third one, and this is the magic. When you've trained and strengthened and practiced and so on, and your comfort zone has gotten bigger, and there you are in some unexpected situation, what happens if you've done your work is higher will takes over and you just do the right thing with no effort. Lower will is the practice and repeating and training and strengthening. And it doesn't take a long time. You could practice these neural pathways in the shower, washing dishes, out for a walk, before sleep. It's so many ways to practice. and it's in your comfort zone. That's lower will. And the magic, higher will, is grace takes over and you respond differently. So does that help, Brenda? Does that give you more to go on?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And the reason that it's resonating so strongly, Andrea, is because I've done all this stuff. I've been through it. I've seen what doesn't work. And as you talk about practice, and even when you don't need to, is I think the part that I've been missing. And then it becomes that higher will, which I've never heard it put that way before. But yeah, I can see it. I mean, even like when you work out, right? It's the same sort of idea. Then you start to feel the muscles different. That's great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. I love your question. It was really helpful for everybody. I'm looking back at the chat. Sarita wrote, I'm so transfixed by these actions and feelings. I can feel the energy flow, how it drains and how it uplifts. Beautiful, Sarita. And remember, who gets to choose? You. Yeah, you raised your hand. Yeah, you get to choose your emotions. Yes, that's my message. I really want you to get from this. Nikki wrote, we categorize emotions in positive and negative. Is negative a true label? Well, I really like that question too. I don't like to judge emotions as good or bad because there's a good reason for all of them. What I do put some judgment on, I suppose, is what we do with them. Like say anger, for instance. I think it's one of the most misunderstood emotions. There is nothing wrong or bad about being angry because it usually means you've been hurt or you feel betrayed. What can be wrong or bad is what you do with it. And the tendency is people either overdo it or underdo it. When people know how to choose a way to manage their hurt or their anger in a healthy way, then you are the master of your emotions. And again, that relationship can be nurtured instead of challenged. Let's see, Wanji, would you say mantras are the same as affirmations? I've heard this question so much. Yes and no. And here's what I mean. Affirmations can be the same and can be as powerful. Often they're not accompanied by a physical body, an embodiment practice. If you embody the meaning of the words in that affirmation, they are the same. In the work that I do, because it's always connected to a body's felt sense, to your embodying that emotion you long for, is really powerful in creating and strengthening a neural pathway, which changes your brain, which motivates another part of your brain to motivate you to be that. So the messages on your neural pathways go in both directions, meaning you move in a certain way and it informs your brain, oh, this is who I am. And also you could say, oh, I'm about to respond that way. I don't want to. Your brain can make a decision. No, I'd rather be this way. And then sends the message to the neural pathway. So the messages along your neural pathways are like a highway going in both directions. Raise your hand. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in that sense, they're not the same unless the affirmations are embodied. Brenda has a follow-up. I like how you say when you manage emotions, then your relationships can be nurtured and not challenged. As a leader, we learn to challenge. What an incredible shift if we instead get curious to really nurture. Yes, 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 yes. There's something else about leadership. We're all different. And in the Enneagram, it describes these 9 personality styles. And as a leader, it's really useful to know that we're not all the same. And when we understand the perspectives and the personality styles of those we lead, those relationships can really, it's easier to be on the same page. It's easier to talk to someone and to give them feedback in a way they most like to hear. Some people want you to be really direct with feedback and some people not so much. That's really hurtful. You need to be, feel the connection and be more gentle in how you express feedback. So it's really useful for leaders, for all of us. We're all leaders in our world in some way. We're leaders in our family. We're leaders in our community in some way. Some people are leaders for large corporations. It still requires, it works best when we understand that other people like to communicate and to be communicated to in different ways. Great questions. And any other comments, insight, or questions, I welcome in the chat. And I'll just pause for a moment. I was looking at, I think this Harisa's quadrant about self, social, recognition, and regulation. And as I was considering that and getting ready to talk with you, I realized that emotional mastery really can be like an umbrella to all of that. Self-awareness really is the first step. If you don't know what your reactions are, you can't change them. So self-awareness, being mindful, is a wonderful first step. And then emotional mastery, these challenges that we have, I call them whammies. It just came up in a conversation with a client. I said, that's because you have a whammy. Well, and my client said, what do you mean by that? Well, it seemed to have this sort of unusual word for a painful point that could be really, disturbing to hear about. It kind of lightened the perceived challenge. So when we have these emotions, disturbing emotions that don't serve your highest good, it's a whammy. And if you don't know how to manage it and shift it, your whammies are driving you. Your whammies are in the driver's seat of your car along the path to your life destiny. And when your whammies are in charge, it's not going to go somewhere you really want. So if you don't like the way something's going, it could be a conversation. I don't like the way this is going. You often can anticipate this isn't going to go well. You've had those moments, right? Instead, when you are the master of your emotions, you can choose. You can be in the driver's seat. Let's see, there's something else in the chat. Nikki said it makes sense. Amazing talk. Thank you. So true. And this is also related to that's how we do self-management, by learning to be the master of our emotions. And it does impact it improves our social skills. Sari wrote, what if an old emotion, like feeling defeated from some old experience, left someone walking with a physical mark, like a bent back or a neck? Well, as a professional dancer for 27 years, I guess it was, I had a lot of injuries. And there was a time where I thought, oh, who knew I'd be a gimp, limping, bent over. Oh, I had pain from head to toe. Almost every joint was inflamed because I would compensate for an injury. And then that part of my body got tired of compensating. I'd compensate somewhere else. My body became a zigzag and I had pain from head to toe. And as I got more emotionally aligned, and I also found the right kind of body work to do, I feel healthier and more whole in my body and more at peace in my body than I have maybe in 15 or 20 years. My injuries were a long time ago. So unhealthy, incorrect body patterns got really strong, as you can imagine. So when we get like a bent back or a bent neck, it often starts by, a little bit of tension. That gets worse. That gets worse. And well, this is kind of a different topic, but what I've noticed in my own healing, my physical healing, and as I'm almost 70 years old, by the way, and other people my age don't have the posture I have. So old age is really succumbing to gravity. Old age is the curving in of the shoulders, the contracting of the hands. And do that for a moment. Look what happens to my neck, and we exaggerate that. And then I need to lean on my walker, right? That's old age, falling into gravity. So our job as we age, and we all are, our job as we age is to defy gravity. So instead of this, open across your shoulders, feel the length in your spine, ground your sitting bones. Yeah, ground your sitting bones. I just got 3 inches taller, right? We're all in front of our computers so much going like, I mean, we do that. When you're sitting in front of your computer, do the best you can to have that width across your shoulders and lengthen your spine. And as we defy gravity, I started to feel more aligned with who I am and with my purpose. Because alignment is not just a physical thing, as you noted before. When you move this way or when you move this way, you started to feel a different feeling. Same thing with our alignment, with our posture. So our job as we age, as we all are, is to defy gravity. But this is a little different than the first part of your question, sorry, because you also wrote, what if an old emotion, like being defeated from an old experience? Let me leave the latter part away. I understand being defeated from an old experience. And sometimes it means that you'll stop going for your dream. Oh, you know what? I really tried it, poured my heart into it once before, and I was defeated. I'm just not going to go there again. I can't, because I'm just doomed to fail. And, I have this quiz, which Franda mentioned in my intro. It's called the EQ quiz. And I'll put the link to it here in the chat, eqquiz.com. It's based on the Enneagram, this personality system. But I see it more than just a typology system, which it is, but I see a lot more than, oh, you're this type. I see your gifts and your strengths in all dimensions, 18 dimensions of human emotion. And when I look at that chart, I could see why you were defeated and why you don't have the ability, you feel like you shouldn't go forward and try again. Because all these whammies, and I see in these 18 dimensions, there could be like several scores that are impacting that feeling of defeat. Oh, that voice in my head says you can't. This other voice in my head says I'm inadequate. This other voice says, well, I got too many things on my plate. This other voice says I don't know which thing to focus on. Oh, we have all these different messages in our head that combined stop us from going for our dream. And if I were to back up a little more, it could stop us from even knowing what our dream is. And if I see you're nodding your head, sorry, if you don't know what your dream is, why would you go for it? Sorry, do you want to comment? I see you nodding, and that was your question. So do you want to comment on that? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to. That's
yeah, I know.
Absolutely fun.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. This, first of all, you don't look 70, so congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Brilliant, brilliant. I love what you said, and I love this alignment, the daily practice of just being aligned internally. I think we all deal with, and I talk to a lot of people about this subject, and you know how old experiences make him walk like that, and it shows, the body shows the energy, shows the feelings. But practicing every day to stay tall, head tall, is so essential for everything that we want to do. It's related perhaps to courage, it's related to confidence. I think what you're talking about is so vital and so important, and I'm very grateful to be here listening to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, you said so many things that I love that I just put into the chat. Alignment is so important. You know, we have physical alignment. Here's a mantra and phrase I use in some of my programs, and you might, I'll do it once and I'll invite you to follow me. My thoughts, feelings, and my actions are aligned. 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 It doesn't matter if you do the exact same things. I'm putting my hands on my different centers, and then I just want to feel that physical alignment, because you know what? When our thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned, we are being our best and highest self. We're connected to something outside ourselves, and it's such a feeling of wholeness, integrity, grace. So alignment, yes. And the body shows the feelings, right? And if you like how you're feeling, great. No need to change anything. And if you don't like how you're feeling, hey, that's when I want you to notice, what is your body saying to you? In my program called, what is it called? I've changed the name. It's about choice. Choice, your path to emotional mastery. It has the word choice in it, and that we get to choose our emotions. It's all related to listening to the language of your body. And in my program, I have some modules on what is the language of your body? What does that mean? Well, if you've ever learned a foreign language, and I bet many of you have, you live in another country, many of you do, so you know your home language and English at least. When we start to learn another language, we don't know it. We don't know the words. We don't know how to use your tongue and the contraction in your mouth. And it's all weird. It's hard to understand. And then you learn the words, and then you have sentences, and then you could talk in paragraphs, and then you can become fluent. Your body has a language. What if it's like a foreign language? Well, let's start with the basics. Let's start with the alphabet and build on that. That's what we do in my program. I call it the Emotional Mastery Foundation. It's the foundation of really building your ability to choose. So it's like a foreign language. Or the other thing about the body of the language of your body. You know, imagine for a moment you're listening to music and you can't quite hear it. What do? Or you're on a Zoom call and you can't hear what the speaker's saying. You can turn your volume up, right? Same thing with the language of your body. I teach you how to turn the volume up when you don't know what it is. Let's try this for a second. Imagine someone said something or something happened and you didn't like it. It's like, oh God, I got to start over. Oh, that's not what I meant. I misunderstood. I'm feeling a little contraction in my heart. Feel a little tiny, just a little tiny contraction in your heart. Enough that you could keep breathing, kind of, sort of. You can keep working, but it's in there. And it's going to work. It's going to, get on you after a while. Now we're going to turn the volume up. Curve your shoulders inward and get a little smaller. That's turning the volume up. You exaggerate that sensation in your body, and now you get it. Oh, I don't like this feeling. What would I rather feel? I want to take a big breath. I don't want to contract. I want to expand. And maybe something like my heart is open and my heart is open. Maybe it's just that. So the language of your body is really crucial to understand. Let's see, there's more things in the chat here. We have to the bottom of the hour. Is that correct, Brenda? Okay, thank you. Mal, can you repeat it again, the practice? What did I say? There's so many ways to practice. Practice when you don't need it. Is that what you mean, Amal? Practice.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the thoughts, feelings, actions, and emotions.
Yeah, can you repeat your hand, how you put it in your head and then to your heart? I like it. I am practicing with you, honey.
Oh, super. Okay. So we have 2 hands and 3 centers. We have a head center, and my hand will go here when I talk about my thoughts. We have a heart center. This is the sternum right in the middle of your chest. This is your heart center, the home of your emotions. And my belly center is right below my navel. Okay. Right below my belly button. And so you can't see it when I'm sitting down, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to be touching each of those centers with my palm. Hand goes to the forehead. My thoughts. The other hand goes to your heart center, my feelings. And your top hand goes to your belly center, and my actions are aligned. And my hand goes on the midline of my body, are aligned. Let's do that again. I love your question. Slowing down is good. My thoughts, feelings, and my actions are aligned. Again, my thoughts, feelings, and my actions are aligned. And I'm feeling an internal alignment. And when you have that, you can live your life with integrity because you are aligned. Thank you for asking me to slow down, Amal. Joseph, wow, this is
great. So much. Thank you so much. Really, I love it. I will do it every day now.
Practice when you don't need it, and it'll be there for you, because every time you practice, remember, your comfort zone gets bigger, and it can keep getting bigger and bigger. And pretty soon those things that used to really push your buttons don't anymore, because grace takes over. Let's see, Brenda wrote, can I talk a little more about what I shared? If you don't know what your dream is, how would you go for it? Well, so first of all, we have to unpack what happened when you were young and you were taught that what you want doesn't matter. Sometimes as little kids, if our parents had 6 kids, they don't have time for every little kid. It's like, I don't have time. I'm just trying to manage, right? Parents can be overwhelmed. And if they're working and, there's so many things on a parent's plate. If you're parents now, you know that too. So many of us have this inner belief. And I see this in your chart. For different reasons, there are different scores that point to the fact that what you want doesn't matter. For instance, let me see if I can do this succinctly. Yes, I will. Okay. If you value inner peace and you value peace between you and another person, what might happen is you might not express what you want, because what if it's different than what the other person wants? What if your opinion is different than theirs? You want peace more than expressing your opinion. What if you feel like, oh, if I need something, I might be in a position, so I won't ask. So you could be well trained for those reasons, not to ask for what you want, not to even know what you want. And now there's another score called the nurturer. The gift of that is being of service to other people and providing what they need. And you're so good at it. You know what they need, maybe before they do, and you're willing and you're there to provide it without even needing to be asked. And the shadow side of that, the whammy for that one, when it's too much of that, is you might be resentful that they're not there for you after all you've done for them, but you haven't asked. And below that is that so habitual, not asking, that there's a part of you that says, well, why bother even knowing? So there you are, after years and years of a strong neural pathway, not asking yourself what you want. And so not knowing what you want, and that's a huge part of why you don't know what your dream is. So we unpack those whammies. And then what happens is that little voice in your heart, like the little girl or the little boy who lives in your heart center, they've been talking to you. But you learn how to turn the volume up. And once we unpack those early imprints and change them, you can turn the volume up and you can hear, oh, that is my heart's desire. That is my dream. That is what I'm going for. And there's another part that goes into that I want to tell you about. So what happened for me, I'm in the Enneagram, I'm a type 4. If any of you know the Enneagram, you know what that means. But in short, what that means is the gift is this emotional breadth and depth. So in a way, it's no surprise I do the work that I do. It's the soup I love to swim in. The shadow side, though, and now every type has a shadow. The shadow side is comparing myself to others and feel like I'm not as good as, I'm just inadequate, I'm not up to it. That's the shadow side. So if that is a score for you, if that's a whammy for you, what happened for me was a feeling that I don't really deserve my dream. Everyone else is so much better. I don't deserve it. You see how I'm shrinking when I say those words? I don't really deserve my dream. And I kind of sort of would try, and it kind of sort of would happen, but not really. And I couldn't just say, well, have a better business plan. That didn't work. I needed to shift that energy and that old emotion and replace it with something like, my dream is unique and deserves to be out in the world, right? So there are these different pieces of the puzzle, which when we shift, the puzzle comes together. And you have not just the knowing of what your dream is, but you know you are up to it. You're not just adequate. This is your gift to bring to the world, and you must do this. And that is a kind of alignment that really turns me on. I love it when I see my clients like really step into the alignment with their dream and they go for it. And it's not just a business plan. Let's see, really good comments in the chat. Petra, my thoughts, feelings, and emotions are aligned. Did you get this right? You did. Yes. Sarita, so beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Well, we have a few minutes left. I would love to open the floor if you have comments or questions about our time together, in particular, your biggest takeaways. What would you like to say about your biggest takeaways here? And while you're waiting to think, Sari added, living in alignment with thoughts, feelings, and actions is living in authenticity. In fact, you might like to shorten that, Sari, and say something like, I live authentically. I live in authenticity, because that obviously means something to you. See how it matters when you know the words you want for this. Yeah, good, Sari. If you want to take my quiz, you'll get immediately a blueprint of your results, and you get an interpretation guide of what it means. And then and then you'll eventually get a link to my calendar, and we could talk about how your whammies are showing up for you, and also what your superpowers are, the gifts that could also help direct you to what that dream is, so that you can go for it and live it. You wouldn't have these dreams if it wasn't yours to live. Let's see, Sarita, takeaway. We are the master of our neural pathways. Yes, do I? What does the recognition of my purpose, both scary and thrilling in equal measure? Well, first of all, I love that it thrills you. It definitely means you're on the right path. Scary, you know what? If it weren't scary, well, that's part of the thrill of it. And there is probably a reasonable fear, which could, if we did some work together, we could have a conversation with that part of you, so that the fear wouldn't be your whammy driving your car down the path to your life destiny. You can be in charge of your fear. I get a little anxious before these interviews. I always get anxious. There's a little fear in there. And I've learned how to, how would I describe it? I just accept it. And I have the confidence and the belief that, hey, I have a message for you. I want you to know something. And I let that override the fear. Yeah. So I really do encourage you to take the quiz, because it'll give you a lot of insight about what you love and why, about your values, why you value certain things, and also what might be getting in the way of knowing your heart's desire and going for your dreams. Brenda, your takeaway is great energy to feel that we are missing out on because trained differently. My dream is worth aligning with. Let's see if we can turn that into a mantra. Actually, let's see. We're going to do a short exercise. We have like 4 minutes left here. Here's a short exercise. Take a moment and imagine whether it's a dream that is worth aligning with, and maybe you don't know what it is. I want you to imagine something you want that you don't have yet. It could be an emotion, a dream, a way of being, something that's been a challenge, something that provoked fear. Feel that energy in your body. I talked about turning the volume up. Exaggerate that energy in your body. Oh, maybe you're not worth it. Maybe the voice is saying you're going to fail anyway. Maybe someone's saying, no, you won't be safe if you're seen in a bigger way. Feel the energy in your body just for another moment. And now, take a breath in and let your body find how it would rather be. And turn the volume up on that and exaggerate that. Let that grow more and more. Let it grow. Don't think it, just let it grow. No judgment here. Anything you do is right. Breathe and let it grow and grow and grow. Whatever it is for you, feel that in every cell of your body. Yes, and repeat it again and again. And if you were to imagine that this had a voice, what does this energy in your body say about you? Maybe there's an I statement. I am or I have. Find a phrase that captures what this new body position, what this energy says about you. I am free. Yes, thank you for writing that in the chat, Zia. I invite you to write this new phrase in the chat. It will anchor it in your mind, and it will be more powerful and having this neural pathway to help you move in the direction of your dreams. I'm going to give you a moment to find a phrase that captures this energy in your body. I just put one in the chat. I am on purpose. I'm strong. I can do it. Oh, I love it. Can you feel that in your body? I am strong and I can do it. I don't know what your body was doing, but this is what my body does when I say, I am flying. Beautiful, Sarita. Erica, I am powerful. Yes, I'm going to let that keep going. This is really beautiful. We have another minute to find your mantra. You let your body inform your mind and repeat that as a mantra. Repeat that whenever you feel like you're not those things. This is your antidote. And practice it. I am the embodiment of life. Practice it when you don't need it. And that neural pathway will become a part of you. I'm alive. That was Doomy. Now, Brenda, dynamic quiet of love and connect. Hey, Brenda, that phrase, dynamic quiet of love and connection, is a great mantra if you're hurt or angry. It will shift the energy. Yeah, right? It will shift the energy in your body. And then you'll have a conversation with that dynamic quiet of love and connection. Cathartic self-discovery. I am enough. These are so beautiful. Well, I'm going to pass this back to you, Franda. And first, I want you to know that you get to choose your emotions, and change can be easy when you know how. And one of my areas of genius is how to create the neural pathways that are most suited to help you do that. So my blessings to you on being in the driver's seat on the path to your life destiny.
You know, I absolutely just have no words right now. This has been one of the most powerful hours of my life. This has been absolutely amazing. And I know that just looking at the comments in the chat, and I know the comments and the emails that we'll get later. So I encourage you all, take a moment, get Andrea's website, find the website, do the quiz, and take that moment to really embrace this time that you've had, right? Don't let it just be a webinar. Let it be something that actually goes within you and stays within you past this hour. So thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you so much. I am so happy that you have joined us. I want you to come back again. I really feel like this should not be a one-time deal. So
thank you. I'm honored and delighted.
Yes, definitely.
And
So
I want you all to practice what you learned.
Exactly. And I think somebody put it in the chat already, but practice your mantra when you don't need it. That's just amazing. I took notes. So yes. So yes, thank you all for coming. I am so happy that you've joined us today or this evening, this morning, whatever it is, it's your time. But I am so happy that you've joined us. I hope to see you all here next week. I think it was 7:30 again next week, Soham, correct? So I do hope to see you all next week. Not sure who the presenter is, but absolutely looking forward to seeing you. You're all very, very awesome people, and you were all here for this session for a reason. You just need to look at yourself and understand what that reason is. We're honored to have you. I wish you all a very, very good evening. Goodbye.
Thank you for showing up, everybody. Bye-bye.